Hey guys, Asap here and welcome to C++ tutorial number 27. Today we're just going to be looking at return types, finally. So far the functions we've been declaring them as a void and then the function name and then a parameter list. But if you want to allow a function to return a value, instead of the void keyword, you put the type you want the function to return. So here I've got two functions. One's returning an integer and one's returning a string. Okay. Before we actually get on to the content and how we define these functions, let's talk about what returning a value actually is. Basically, if we run, for instance, think back to when we ran the find function on a string, and it gave us an integer value. Basically, we call the function giving us that value the function returning that value, and the value that we got from that function was, of course, the offset from the starting point of the substring, if it was found. So basically, by returning a value, it's a kind of weird word to use, but it means giving a value, okay? So, I don't know if I've really explained it so well there, but hopefully by actually using it, you'll be able to understand it more easily. Okay, so let's look at the first function that returns an int. It's called mySquare, and it takes one parameter, which is the number to square. And the definition is simply the same as the prototype, and then return num to square times num to square, because we're squaring it, so we times it by itself. And I've just put it in between parentheses just to make sure it encloses everything neatly, and it's always just good to enclose stuff like this in parentheses in return statements and in other places as well. Just wherever you think it necessary, really, and if statements as well. Sometimes something like this, it's a good idea to enclose it in parentheses. Anyway, we run this function several times in lots of different ways. Because a function returns a value, it can be used in not thousands, but a lot of different ways. So one case, we're outputting the actual function, but what C++ actually sees is the value returned by this function. So when C++ actually comes to run this, what it actually sees is this. Okay? Because the function runs before we actually output the value, and then it substitutes the function call with the returned value, okay? We can't, well, I guess we can, but, actually I don't know. I'm not sure if you can call a function which doesn't return a value inside a count statement. You can go ahead and try that if you want. But this is what the function sees when we. This is what C++ actually sees when it's running. It doesn't see the function call; it sees the returned value. Okay. Here we're demonstrating the use of the function by assigning a variable to the function. Again, C++ doesn't see the function call; it sees the value of the function call. So here we're declaring an int called square of 250 and assigning it mySquare 250. So what C++ actually sees is this. Is equal to, let me just check what this value is. Okay, 62500. 62500. This is what C++ actually sees when it comes to the running of the program. It actually sees the value returned by mySquare, not the function call to mySquare. And here we're just outputting square of 250.